Hi, it's Greg over DIY RV and Home and Camper's Life. Today I'm doing some preventive maintenance on my trailer, and the preventive maintenance I'm doing is I'm going to be replacing out my propane hoses. This is a 2003 Fleetwood Prowler, and I'm pretty sure that these are from 2003. Now once I get it off, I'll show you exactly why I've got it off, but here's the replacement. Now some of you may notice that, let me unscrew this, I've got a different head on it. Well, remember, on your propane bottles you have external and internal. The external are real easy to connect up to. The internal, not a problem. It is left-handed threads, so you need to go the opposite direction, but it's still a very good connection. So we're going to go with that. Also, they were the ones that were available when I went to pick them up in the right size. So, of course, we've already got the line off. We've turned all the bottles off. Here's a hint. As you see, it's still kind of like staying in its position. You know? There's one of the hints. So, for this one, now remember, there is two different style connectors for your hose. This one here is actually the pipe thread. We're going to go ahead, and it, for me, is a 9/16. You might see this blue stuff. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Go ahead and get that off. And yes, normally I do have this locked down. We're stationary for quite some time, so I'm not worried about it. All those brackets are right here. So let's take a look at this. Here is the hose that I just took off, and as you can see, it is extremely stiff. As it gets older, it's going to get harder, more brittle, so I'm taking and preemptively replacing them before there is an issue. Now you can see the style of crimp there is on this one. Then you look, and this one has a real nice full crimp around it. It is a good quality product. So that is a replacement. Again, there is the ends, 1/4 inch pipe thread. The other one is an inverted flare. So you need to make sure you know which one you're getting before you do go to replace them. And this did have pipe dope on it. That was propane compliant. But I'm going to be using Teflon tape on mine. And I have Blue Monster. I have checked and double checked specifically that this is compliant with propane. Anything that you wrap to use as a thread sealer on propane or any other type of chemical product, acid, you want to make sure that whatever you're using is compliant with that product. This is. So we're going to go ahead and take it off. Now the threads here are clean, just a little bit of that dope on the very outside, which is not going to interfere. When we do put Teflon tape on, we always want to go as if we're threading it in to the fitting and wrap it around. That way, when it does, when you do go to put it in to the fitting, it's not going to unwind itself. Okay, let me get this on real quick. And we're going to do about 3-4 wraps. You don't want it too thin because you want it to work, but yet you want it thick enough that it is actually going to seal properly. And then I'm just going to press, hold, pull. And there it is. You see that little straggler right there? We want to go ahead and pull that little straggler, make sure it's off and out of the way. We don't want any of the Teflon tape to roll to the inside here of the fitting as you put it on, because when you do that, it'll actually cut it, allow it to dislodge and run into your regulator or get trapped somewhere. And that's not good. So we've got one. Let's go ahead and put it on, and just take your time. Make sure it goes on at least a couple threads before you start using your wrench. That way you don't accidentally get it cross-threaded. we're going to go good and tight. We're not going to go world champion muscle builder tight. And we're not going to go 2-year-old tight. But we're going to go tight. Click, as somebody else I've heard on YouTube, click, factory spec. There we go. Now we can see how flexible this hose is. Let's take the protector cap off, come in, and remember, if you're using this style, you're going opposite threads. So now it's left-handed threads. So there it is, just like that. Replace the hose, got rid of this, and went to this. Let me get this last one on, and I'll come to you with the clothing. It's that simple, folks. Preventive maintenance. A lot of stuff will happen is you'll get it dry. As it dries up, shrink. You can get leakage right through here. As you're manipulating this, trying to get the bottle out, you can crack it. Now this is outer. There's a woven protector sleeve inside of like fibers to help keep the inners safe. But then you got the inner, and just think of it this way: if this one's like this, what's the inner side like? So let's get this last one done. There it is. One final thing I got to do before I call this project done. I'll go get it right now and I'll show you. Alright, now I don't have any spray to spray on the fittings to make sure that they're not leaking. I don't have the propane leak detect spray, but what I do have is, let's see if you can see it without spilling it. I've got dish soap and water. I got quite a bit of dish soap, so it's going to make bubbles. I'm going to mix it up. And as we can see, we're bubbling it up quite a bit. There you go. You can see that. So we're going to use this. Check that. So we've got both lines on. We're going to open it up. Both of them. Now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pour it over. And I'm going to, because these are new lines, I'm going to pour it even right here at the ferrules, or excuse me, at the ends. And we're going to just pour it all over. All right, we want to look for any signs of bubbling. We'll let that sit for a little bit. If we don't see any bubbles, we can feel confident that we got a good project. And as you can see, we do have propane in our bottles. Got the green there. So I'm going to call it project done. From this to this, what, 5 minutes? And I could have probably got it done faster without the camera. So I'll leave a link in the description below where you can get both styles of hoses and both types of fittings on your hoses. Alright, so if you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe and share, and until next time, happy camping.